tonight.
Because it's not like we had it planned or anything at all. We were just waiting here.
Oh my God. Hi, everyone.
So casual.
We're glad to be your neighbor. Welcome to an episode of the Watchtower, another episode. This is Ladies' Night, just like our Marvel show.
Yeah.
Week. Unfortunately, Jezzer had a family emergency, so he could not be here tonight. So send him all your well wishes. To my right here, I have the lovely Toni Sanchez.
Hi, guys. Mwah.
Our lovely,
I've missed you all. I really have.
Cast member. I know. You just went to your first convention last week.
I did. Oh, God.
What?
Guys, I went to Anime LA, and it was fantastic. I loved it. Literally, it was just like, I don't know what any of this is.
Yeah.
But it's so pretty. But I was actually surprised to learn that it was more of a animation-focused convention. And there actually was a fair amount of cosplay and content that I was like, all right, yeah, that resonates with me. There was video games and other animated shows and movies that were well represented. Especially, I'm a cosplayer, so I really, really love going to conventions for cosplay, to see cosplay. So, I had a blast.
Nice. I know. Yeah, it was a pretty good time. I only went last Saturday because I was just so busy. But this convention was crazy, too, with security. Didn't they have, a bomb threat or something?
Okay, here's the thing. I only had one panel left to cover on Sunday, and it was relatively early. So went into the panel, walked out, said goodbye to everybody, and that was it. All of a sudden, I checked back later, and there was some sort of threat made against the convention that somebody had, I guess, threatened a shooting. So apparently, security was kind of worked up about that, rightfully so. But yeah, it wasn't until I was already back at home and just sort of rechecking my messages and rechecking social media that. So I don't really know what the details with that are, if anything really happened, or if that was just credible, or if it was just a random person online that just decided to make everybody's lives difficult for the last day of a con.
Yeah,
so
I hope that's not going to be the new thing at conventions. Because I remember when they had the London train bombings and a couple of other things, and then Comic-Con was 3 months later.
Yep.
So I was completely freaked out leading up to it, because I get bad anxiety. So I was just like, oh my God, I hope nothing's going to happen, because if anything were to happen, it was going to be at this convention. So I don't want to give anybody any ideas out there, but going to these conventions, that's our safe zone. And other than there's this epidemic with cosplayers shaming each other and whatnot, for the most part, it's just a safe space that we can all go and geek out and nerd out, and you can actually strike a conversation with strangers very easily. So I definitely don't. And ALA was a little bit scary too, because every time you wanted to go back into the convention center, you had to go through security.
Yep.
As long as security, get your bags checked, get the wanded all over the place. It was insane, and they wouldn't let you bring in any outside food or drink. And so that was an issue for us trying to do a couple shoots, but
yeah. But in terms of, the exchange for our safety, as annoying and frustrating as it could be, just because it's come on, dude, I'm here to walk the floor and see some cosplay and geek out. I'm not exactly trying to do anything nefarious, but I understand that just because it's, up until, this, point, cons have usually been just sort of an in and out free for all, so I did appreciate the fact that there was back checks, and they didn't have metal detectors set up, but they did have enough staff to actually run a wand over every single person that was actually entering the actual convention center. So I did appreciate it, and it was a mid-range, a mid-size convention, so it wasn't like it was. The lines weren't crazy.
Right. It wasn't that bad.
No, it's not like we had to stay in line for I think the longest line I had to stand in was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't terrible. It was just sort of.
Yeah, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, they had security there.
Yeah.
That's nuts. They should be a little bit more secure at these cons, because people easily skip weapons check with the cosplay props. And of course, Jason David Frank from Power Rangers had that scary threat that happened to him last year.
Yeah.
But this was a better case than what happened at Anime Expo last year, because of the security lines and the registration lines and everyone being confused. Some people were standing in line to get their badge for 5 hours. It was so bad that...
How does that happen?
The convention refunded anyone who had to do that. It was just insane. So they're making a lot of changes this year for that.
Yeah, rightfully so. Come on, guys, it's a line. the concept of a line has been around since the dawn of time. We should have figured out how to go ahead and make that an expeditious,
exactly
process.
All right, so let's get this show started. I want to say hi to everybody. We are running dual streams tonight. We are on Facebook at THS Comic Books, so you can watch us on there, or you're probably watching us on YouTube. So let me say hi to people on the chat here. Carlos Martinez, Blackwing, stop hating on me for going to the Black Panther premiere on Monday because it was amazing. Hashtag Black Excellence. Hashtag Michael B. Jordan. Hashtag Michael Bay Jordan. Hashtag okay. Let's see. Who else? Anna Miles is in the chat. Welcome, dear. Hey. Love it. Jezzer says everything's fine, nothing too serious. So good for you, Jezzer. We definitely miss you here. Especially because you stuck me with the Shazam business. But anyway. So that's that. One way you guys can support PCR is to go to our TeePublic website. That's tpublic.com/@#show, where you can purchase a lot of geeky merch out there. Con season has begun. We're going to have Marvel DC films coming out this year. And what better way to show up to your screening than dressing up in a bunch of geek gear? And there are a lot of funny meme puns mixed up with geek characters. So if you like that, make sure you go on that site to support us over at PCR. I
enjoy a good pun.
Right? I do.
Yeah,
I do
man.
like a good pun too. So, yep, the link is right in the chat there. Thank you guys. Thank you guys who are complimenting my hair because I totally want to go red. And I was like, I'm having like Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy vibes, right here. How many people do we have on Facebook, Tony?
John Lloyd. Hi, John Lloyd.
Hi, John Lloyd.
And we have some other folks that are watching.
Okay,
they're not people. They're not jumping into the chat.
If you guys are watching on Facebook, we don't know who is in there unless you start conversing on chat. And Tony will be monitoring that chat, and I will be here on YouTube. So please chat away. Help us out. We're going to be talking about Shazam. We're going to be talking about Metropolis. And then we are going to be closing out the show with a little bit of this DCEU Black Panther talk. So first things up, Metropolis TV show. So apparently DC is coming out with their own streaming service as if you needed another subscription to something. This feels like the net neutrality of television.
I mean, honestly, everybody just needs to go through Hulu or Netflix. I don't understand why we're trying to go ahead and establish our own streaming service, and I am directing that towards Disney as well, because it's like, I don't need you to remove everything off of Netflix. It's just so that way I can pay somebody else another $4 or $5, $12
yeah, it's definitely
a month.
Gonna be that.
Yeah, so
more like $12 a month.
Not loving it.
What are they having on that? They're having a Justice League show on there. They're having a Teen Titans show on there.
The new Harley Quinn. Animated,
animated series, and then this Metropolis TV show, which is the most unnecessary things that I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, go ahead and explain what
movies.
This is supposed to be, because this is, unnecessary.
Here's the official synopsis. Set in a wondrous and awe-inspiring city of tomorrow, before the arrival of Superman, Metropolis follows Lois Lane and Lex Luthor as they investigate the world of fringe science, ooh, riveting stuff, and expose the city's dark and bizarre secrets. So Lois Lane and Lex Luthor.
So it's Lois and Lex in the X-Files, is what you're telling me.
Yes, which is an odd pairing. I've never, in every iteration of Superman, I've never seen them interact.
For good reason, because they have nothing to do with one another. I mean, I'm sure there's like a couple of comics out there that somebody's going to be able to throw in my face saying like, well, what about this one? Yeah. They had, great dialogue there. I'm like, yeah, sure. You could put 82, fictional characters in a room, and if you're talented enough, come up with something, compelling. However, an entire series where your lead characters are two people that I'm like, I don't find Lois Lane that compelling as a character in the first place.
No.
Maybe that's just the fact that she's...
Amy Adams can't see that character.
Oh my God. No, I mean, it's just, she is the she is the prototypical comic book girlfriend. I mean, she is just there to, I mean, I think the only time I've ever enjoyed Lois is during the Dean Cain, Terry Hatcher, Lois and Clark. Like, okay, that was focused on them, and as them working together, and it was kind of a cute little like Superman on the side kind of series. So we've been able to see that a series where Superman isn't the focus can work. It has worked before, but where he's not there at all, and you're basically retconning, or I guess reinterpreting it as Lois and Lex are more or less friends. Right. Let's go ahead and take a step back and just, give it, a conservative pitch and just say they're just they're just work colleagues.
Yeah, no one knows whether Lois is going to be investigating Lex Luthor's dealings and he's involved with it. How do you make a multi-season series about that?
It sounds like somebody really just wants to see these two bang. Because
I don't.
Is this not the setup of every single, guy, girl, crime, investigative, serial, TV show you ever heard of? Where it's this sounds like Bones. This sounds like Castle. This sounds like X-Files. This sounds like you want to put two attractive people together that, they're going to bicker and, there's going to be this, unspoken, tension between them. And then all of a sudden it's going to turn sexual. Will they or won't they?
Cliche.
That's what it sounds like. If you can actually transform that into something else, great.
Yep.
Unfortunately, this setup sounds trite as hell.
Well, to answer Carlos Martinez's question, actually Metropolis is a separate TV series from Krypton. Krypton is a separate thing. So there are a lot of Superman central shows going on, including what's going on in the DCEU. So for you Superman fans out there, which do not include myself, congratulations, whatever. Basically, I think this is like Superman's answer to Gotham, which airs on Fox.
Yeah.
But that's more compelling because you like Jim Gordon. It's Jim Gordon by himself and the stupid GCPD, which are the most useless cop squad in the entire planet.
But I mean, Gotham works even just as a premise just because one of the huge assets for Batman has always been his supporting cast and his rogues gallery.
Yeah.
You can and have gone ahead and created an entire universe without Batman.
Right.
Which, as we've seen, even though you love it or hate it, it has been able to sustain itself.
Yeah.
Who is Superman's supporting cast? Lois Lane, Lex, Jimmy, and Perry White?
I think if they just would have focused on Lex Luthor, it would have been better, just because Lois Lane doesn't have a rich backstory like maybe Jim Gordon does and Lex Luthor does.
Yep.
She's not a fully fleshed out character, in my opinion, past Superman.
She's not, because it's like, what? Yeah, I know nothing about Lois Lane has, all right, well, how long has Superman been around? Since what, the 40s? The 30s?
30s, I think.
Yeah.
33.
Yeah.
I know nothing about Lois Lane.
Wait, no, it's the 80th anniversary, so 38. It's the 80th.
But granted, she's an 80-year-old character.
37.
I know nothing about her.
Who?
I know nothing about Lois Lane. And mind you, she's
a reporter at the Daily Planet.
That's it. She's a reporter.
There's a comic book. It was called Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane. What else do you need to know?
Oh my God.
That was not a real deal.
Wasn't it? Wasn't that the tagline for
No.
Wasn't it?
That confident
voice. There was a Lois Lane comic.
It was Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane. Then there was another one, Superman's best friend, Jimmy Olsen.
Okay, I remember that one. I don't remember the Lois Lane one. But
yeah, but it's like, who, honestly, in that series, from what I remember from what little I've read of, the Lois Lane series from way back when, it was essentially sort of like a Barbie kind of like setup where it's like, watch Lois Lane go on this adventure, or watch Lois Lane go undercover for this story. And she was just sort of stepping into, or like, oh, Lois Lane has been asked on a date and it's not Clark or it's not Superman. What will she do? It's like, it was this very, I don't know. It was just very, very weird. And I don't know.
What do you guys think in the chat there? Do you think they went the wrong direction? Are there two other characters you might want to see a prequel story with? Are you totally thumbs down on this series? Right now, it's just a thought, I believe. There's no production start date. There's no release date. But they do need to jumpstart this DC streaming service somehow. Yeah. So why not do it with a Superman-centric show without Superman?
I don't know. I just feel like if you're pitching a show and, the whole battle of getting people to watch is that the premise itself has to be compelling. This doesn't sound compelling.
We have a new person in here who I haven't seen. Maybe I have. Maybe I was on another planet. But Nicholas Yane says, Tony, nothing
Nicholas Yanez. Let me tell you about Yanez. Yeah, Nicholas Yanez. Yes, I do. Nicholas Yanez. Let me tell you about Nick. Nick was actually my history of comic books teacher at FSU. Yeah.
Oh.
So yes, he's a little bit of my Yoda, a little bit of my future ex-first husband. So yeah, man.
He said he has clearly failed you since you know nothing about Lois Lane.
Okay.
Do you mean you don't care to retain any information about Lois Lane?
Name me one compelling storyline where it was just centered on her and actually revealed anything about her own life.
All right, Yanez, the ball is in your court there. But he does say the series sounds awful. Anna says not excited. Carlos is a thumbs down. Jezzer says Perry White.
Perry White.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
Look, she looks like she's throwing a temper tantrum.
Dude. Yes. Okay, so
but
wait.
Like, you don't have to do this.
You guys probably can't read it from there.
Yeah.
Featuring.
But we aren't kids. I'm Lois Lane, a famous reporter, and this is my fiance, Superman.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
He promised to marry me, and I demand you perform the ceremony.
Wow.
Shut up.
They're minors? This looks like a scary...
Read what Superman's saying.
Poor Lois, she'll never convince anyone a youth serum turned us both into teenagers. Serves her right for trying to trick me into marrying her?
I can't.
What year was this released? Oh my God. Why'd you make me read that?
No,
I love the guys. They always blame the girls. Oh my gosh.
Well, that's
you
how
walked over there, didn't you?
This is how all of it was, honest to God. It was like, oh, look at, I'm telling you, it was a total like archaic Barbie setup where it's like, watch the girl go do stuff because she's a girl. She's going to go do more girl stuff. Look at the girl ain't around. And okay, cool.
All right. Well, that's going to end that because I don't care about Superman. Blackwing's going to yell at me. We get it, Mickey. Oh
Kingdom Come did happen because Lois was killed by the Joker. Okay, like another girl in the fridge. Like, I really don't care. The most interesting thing that you've ever done is die. That's not a good sign.
That was a very special episode of Punky Brewster.
Oh my effing God.
So don't play in refrigerators. Don't let your kids play in refrigerators.
Yes, thank you, Jezzer. Lois Lane, dumbest girl who doesn't know her coworker is a superhero.
I mean, nobody knew that though. Don't just blame her.
That was like the best thing that Man of Steel did.
Yes.
That the fact that we knew?
Yes.
I have to see that movie again. It kind of faded.
It's the only thing that redeems her, that she's actually able to go ahead and be like, I know who you are.
I mean, it's just dumb.
At the same time, she found him by showing people pictures. And the military couldn't. So...
Hey, GCPD. What can I say? Josh should be on this show. He's gonna come and swivel over. I like how Josh pretends like he's like, I don't want to be the Joe of PCR. I was like, you love it, you fame whore. All right, so the big topic of tonight is going to be another film I don't really care about. No, I'm just kidding. I am intrigued. I always say, like, when they first showed the trailer from X-Men First Class, I groaned, rolled my eyes, and I almost died. I was like, what is this crap? And then it was like my favorite X-Men of all time. Just because, like, I didn't really follow Zachary Levi and Chuck. It was, right?
I did. Yeah, he was in Chuck. He was great in that.
But he was fun at the sci-fi party last year. So
his parties are great. Cool, he is. No, his before that it was Nerd HQ. I really hope that it comes back.
It's not.
Last year's party at Comic-Con was in conjunction with Sci-Fi. They did their whole huge rebranding thing, which was awesome. Sci-Fi, if you're out there watching this, you guys really did fabulous work at Comic-Con last year. Yeah. But yeah, Zach Levi, he's been in Chuck. He's been in the new. It was that Heroes reboot / sequel that they had going on.
Is that like that 4-episode series?
Yeah.
The whole season?
And then I think the last thing he's been doing is, let's see, he was Fandral in Thor, Dark World and Thor Ragnarok.
Oh. Before you guys go on, John over on Facebook has a question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the question is, though. So
What the heck, Tony? You're supposed to be on Facebook.
Okay. Well, he mentioned Shazam. I was waiting until we got to Shazam, and now we're here. No, he's like, hey guys, what do you think about the I'm assuming he's meaning the release.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't see the second. He re-asked.
Okay.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah. Hey guys, what do you think of the release of Shazam? I'm assuming he's meaning this movie.
Well, we'll talk about that throughout the our subtopics here. As you guys already know, I assume Zachary Levi will be the title character Shazam, aka Billy Batson, Billy Batshit crazy. Just kidding. This is when Jezzer told me what the movie was about. I was basically like, so this is the Big. The superhero Big. Yes. And if you guys don't know what Big is,
Shame
I
on
feel
you.
really old. But basically, it was a movie in the early 90s. Tom Hanks
80s.
made a wish at those Zoltar things that you see at like the show. Every time I see that, I'm like, Big. And he puts a coin in there and makes a wish. And then he's like a 30-year-old man the next day. He was a child. But anyway, yes. So Zachary Levi will be your Shazam. And it began filming last week in Toronto under the codename Franklin. Big time productions usually use code names in order to not have fans swarm set. So what do you think about that? What are you anticipating this film?
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued just because, my own experience. You were talking about your experience with First Class, about like, you weren't excited about the trailer and then you turned out, that you ended up loving it. I've had instances where I've not loved, casting choices and then I see it happen and then I'm just like, I'm an idiot. How did I not see this? This was brilliant and wonderful. I mean, there are literally way too many instances of that to even, like the whole Heath Ledger thing. When Heath Ledger was announced, everyone was like, this is ridiculous. You're ruining everything. Shut it all down, burn it all to the ground. And then it happened. And then, he won an Oscar for it. So I've learned to not go ahead and judge, the casting choice until I've gone ahead and seen the movie. So I am intrigued, and I do enjoy Zach Levi. He does strike me as someone who can pull off the character where he is supposed to be this child in a grown man's body. Like, I mean that as a compliment. I think he can really do that well. The thing that did concern me a lot was the fact that he's not a big dude. In fact, he's a big, tall, lanky, skinny dude. He's got like a swimmer's build and everything we've ever
so
seen.
So is John Krasinski.
Yeah.
You haven't seen him lately.
Oh, he got jacked. But I'm saying, like, even John Krasinski, I would never think to go ahead and cast him as Shazam. The fan casting that was going around was for John Cena, just because Cena is literally just
big dude.
A huge walking muscle.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited to see, how it, turns out. And honestly, so much of what is successful about a superhero movie or a movie in general is so beyond an actor's control. So it can't just be fully on him. It has to be a lot of elements that are going to come together to actually make it a good movie. So I'm intrigued. I am keeping ahead of it. I am paying attention whenever these little, news tidbits come up. But excited.
Not as excited as she is about Black Panther. But everyone in the chat, let us know what you think about Zachary Levi's casting. Is there someone else you had in mind? Fan cast that role yourself. And then we'll move on here. I don't know what we're talking about next. Sorry. So the synopsis for the film is young Billy Batson finds himself gifted with the power of the wizard Shazam to fight against the forces of evil. With the wisdom of Solomon, the strength of Hercules, the stamina of Atlas, the power of Zeus, the courage of Achilles, and speed of Mercury, he is the holder of the power Shazam, which is an acronym. He is Captain Marvel. And guys, if you didn't know, Shazam was Captain Marvel first.
Yes.
For some reason, Marvel hijacked that and said they couldn't use it.
Well, DC was trolling Marvel big time with that. They decided, no joke. I mean, they used to do this kind of thing a lot, back in the day, because they all knew each other. They all decided to just go ahead and do these sort of things, and they decided to go ahead and create a character called Captain Marvel. And I believe the Captain Marvel, I think at his inception, he actually wasn't owned by DC. It was a different company, and then, or what am I thinking of?
Fawcett?
Yes. So then he was then shortly after acquired by DC, and then he's ever since then been a DC character.
He was acquired by DC because DC was actually looking at suing Fawcett Comics over Shazam because of his similarity to Superman.
Yes. So they went ahead and said, like, all right, we own it all now. We own all the Supermen. Okay, great. Yeah. Kept the name as is, and then finally got to the point where Captain Marvel and Marvel Comics, and then plus Marvel Comics just being, the name Marvel itself, it became enough of an issue that they switched over and just started calling him Shazam.
It's better, works better, you know.
It does.
He says Shazam, and it's like abracadabra.
Yeah, that should be your name.
And he turns into
Wiz Comics, not Fawcett.
Wiz Comics.
Fawcett was someone else. I'll look that up because I know I'm wrong.
Well,
Thank you, Jezzer.
While we get our fact checker going, what's Jezzer saying? Who's saying things?
Jezzer was the one who said Wiz Comics.
Oh wait, same company.
Oh,
We're both right.
okay.
Everyone's right.
Yay.
So, if you
Yes.
guys haven't been keeping up with the DCEU news, apparently Henry Cavill and The Rock may be making cameo appearances throughout this film.
Okay.
Okay, they took a photo in the springtime of last year, and then of course The Rock, being who he is, or both of them started trolling people saying, you know, we're excited for what the future brings. And then The Rock was doing promo for some film. It might have been Fast and the Furious.
I don't know. He's got like 5 of them out right now.
Exactly. And he said that WB is in talks to have Superman and Black Adam fight on the big screen together. So coupled with that and the fact that Shazam was basically in pre-production, everyone is thinking that they will be doing that in this film. And that Superman might be a bit of a mentor to Billy Batson. So that, I guess that would be good. I don't know. It feels weird that Superman's kind of playing second fiddle to a lot of these characters. Like, his own sequel got hijacked by you know, the Batman v Superman, and Batman was the best part of that.
Yes.
And then now, still, instead of getting his own sequel, he's going to be cameoing in someone else's film.
Yes.
Which would be cool for any other character other than the face of DC. Or DC Comics, I should say.
Gotcha.
Batman's pretty much been the face of the film history.
It does seem a little opportunistic, and I think that's just because we discussed this before about just the reactive nature of the DCEU. They just seem to sort of, like, anytime there's an opportunity to kind of make something happen, and if the stars align, they go ahead and make it happen, as opposed to aligning the stars themselves and saying, like, this is the plan. This has always been the plan. This is going to go ahead and, like, we're going to put down the foundation and make sure that once we get to this point, that's what's going to happen. And you're right. This does ring of just like, hey, you're done with Mission Impossible and you can shave now. So why don't you come on down to Toronto, you know, check it out. Canada's great. So yeah, it seems a little weird. And The Rock making a cameo makes more sense than Superman. And then you do kind of have to wonder if, you know, they're actually going to be face to face, you know, if that's going to be Billy Batson, like young, tiny child Billy Batson in the scene with Superman, or if it's going to be Shazam and Superman, or both. I mean, but then that also seems like, why is it just the one character kind of showing up? I mean, why is it the one member of the Justice League showing up as opposed to...
But it's the same thing with Marvel with their the Avengers thing, you know. You're like, well, where is S.H.I.E.L.D. and where is Iron Man? And but the thing is, this may have something to do with contracts. Somebody just mentioned up here about cameos in Suicide Squad. Blackwing said Flash and Batman made cameos. They were doing that because Ben Affleck is on a contract and Ezra Miller's on a contract, and it's been so long between, like, they need to run out these films because they don't even know if they're going to be able to fulfill these contracts at the rate that they're going in.
Again, make your plan, man, and then stick with it. Stop trying to just say, hey, you got so much 4 movies left on that contract. Why don't you go ahead and, like, you know, show up to this movie or this set? I don't know. I wish I had more faith in the plan, but
yeah, because it's weird. As much news that gets churned out with DC Warner Brothers, we don't know too much about what the contracts look like for these actors, as opposed to Marvel. You know, who has a 5 to 6 movie contract and who's only contracted for one film. Standard is 3 films. And someone like Superman might get 5, and whoever's playing Batman will get 5 appearances, not necessarily films. So Ben Affleck making a 10-minute appearance would be a contract fulfillment. So yeah, it's very weird. I wonder whose contract is up at this point and who may have more stuff to do. We know probably Wonder Woman, and
they're reactive. I mean, even Wonder Woman. I mean, hell, Wonder Woman. They didn't lock down Gal Gadot until after
very last minute.
Wonder Woman was already out in theaters, breaking records, doing crazy business, and then they were like, "Shit, we got to pay her now."
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And then same thing with Patty Jenkins. They didn't lock her down either they hadn't even considered a sequel, which is very unusual in this genre. Usually sequels are planned out before the first movie even begins.
Right. And funny enough, Shazam was actually fast-tracked to be the next movie into production, because I think we talked about a few months ago how it was weird that DC, like I think fall of last year, DC didn't have anything planned to shoot this year.
Yes.
And I think that was even before Wonder Woman 2 was greenlit. And it was just very weird, and they're having only one film released this year. But basically before, Flashpoint was, not Flashpoint, Shazam was moved up before Flashpoint, the Batman, the 50 Harley Quinn Joker films that they have planned.
Goodness.
So that they could have a little bit of variety with their slate, because this is gearing to be more like a comedy, like kind of like the Ant-Man.
Which
DC.
I think is the way to go. I hope that this isn't going to be another $200-300 million movie that they're trying to, have basically prop up their studio the way that I think Justice League and BVS was sort of set up. Like, I hope that this is a smaller, production rather than something ridiculous that just has too many stakes to actually ever prove to be successful.
Right. Well, Carlos Martinez is trolling the chat. Carlos, The Flash was in Suicide Squad, and no one cares if you don't like Ben Affleck's Batman, because everyone else does.
Batfleck is legit. He's legit. He's my favorite. He is.
Yeah.
Hot take. He's my favorite. So I mean, I'm intrigued by Shazam. I want to hear more about it.
All right. But let me take you through a little casting thing.
Okay, let's do this. Yeah.
So again, the following cast members kind of indicate that this is going to be more towards a comedy, and there are a bunch of child actors. So first up, we have Jacqueline Grazer, who plays Billy Batson's best friend, who disability may play a role in this film.
Or the character's disability.
Yeah, may play a big part in Billy becoming Shazam, because he wants to try to heal his friend in some way. I don't know. Jezzer, you're in the chat. Help me out here. Have you seen him recently in It? He was one of the funny characters. He was like the germaphobe almost. So next up, we have Ian Chen, who is playing Eugene Choi, who also plays one of Billy's friends, and who you can catch in the ABC hit Fresh Off the Boat.
Oh, I love him.
I love that show. It's funny.
Yeah, that show is genius. If you're not watching Fresh Off the Boat, you really need to.
Then we have Darla Dudley, will portray Faith Herman, another one of Billy's friends in the foster home, and who you can catch in This Is Us, which is one of the saddest shows in television history.
No, I'm not trying to traumatize myself that way. I'm good.
I mean, she's pretty young, so you have like a solid cast of child actors, though, because when I had to grow up with child actors, you didn't have them like this. When Haley Joel Osment came around, you were like, oh my God, children can act.
Yeah.
And Dakota Fanning, but yeah, we didn't grow up with child actors.
No, we didn't. We grew up with the Lawrence brothers.
The Lawrence brothers?
You don't remember the Lawrence brothers? Joey, Matthew, and the other one?
Oh, no. I did have the
I don't mean
twins.
that. I just literally can't remember the third one's name. I'm so sorry. But they were really sweet, but literally...
It was the kid.
Yeah, the youngest one.
It was the kid. I don't remember him. There was Zach and Cody, the Sprouse twins, and there was the Olsen twins, and there was Lindsay Lohan, and...
Yeah. Well, even that, they actually had a modicum of talent. But before that, it was like kids just showing up just because a series had gone on for like 5 or 6 seasons, and they were like, hey, we need a new Brady kid, even though it's like Mrs. Brady is in her 50s, but okay.
Or like Fresh Prince, and they had the
Didn't
Nikki
they add
kid.
another kid to Family Members?
They
Family
did,
Matters,
they
even
threw
though
her out
they
season
lost
later.
Judy for like 6 years or something.
Yeah, they're like, they never even acknowledged that kid.
She just went to a room to play.
Oh my God!
Lost.
Oh no,
Yeah,
that's what they did.
lost.
That's literally what they did for the little girl on Boy Meets World. She literally disappeared for 4 seasons, and like she shows up to the breakfast table, and they're like, "Where have you been?" And she's like, "I've been in my room."
Oh, I remember that. So meta.
I'm like, oh my God, yeah, she had gone from literally like 6 years old to 13.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's television. So we're not sure yet, because in the comics, I don't know if it's a New 52 or just canon all the way through. His friends actually turn into different variations of Shazam, or the acronym of Shazam. So we're not sure if that's going to be the same case here. I think one way that Billy's best friend, what's his name again? Wait, what? What's his name? Freddy. Okay, I was like, what's his character name? Freddy cures his disability is by becoming a superhero, which is like, I don't know, could be a touchy subject. Because, you know, people with disabilities, they want to have representation as well in film.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be like, oh, you can magically heal yourself from being paralyzed by magic or whatever.
Yeah.
So it depends on how they handle that.
Yeah. I mean, that seems more of a villain storyline that we've seen, you know, villains that, you know, are, you know, differently abled. Like who was the lizard dude in that god-awful Spider-Man movie?
Oh, it was Dr. Lizard. Sorry.
There you go. No. That guy.
Dr. Lizard in the sewer. He had a lab
Risa
in the
fans.
sewer.
You poor man. The character. I know Risa fans.
Connor.
Yeah. Huh?
Connor.
Oh, yeah.
Connors.
Yes.
Dr. Connors.
Dr. Connors.
What did we do to you?
Kirk Connor, I think.
Kirk
How
Kent.
is that? I actually prefer Amazing Spider-Man 2 to the first one.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
So Black Wing says that's the New 52, which the DCU heavily draws from New 52, for sure. And I was just trying to think about Harley's look. No, they took Harley's look and put it. What's the Rebirth now they're doing?
Yes.
Yeah, the DC Rebirth, which is like, you guys just did the New 52. It was a big deal. How long did the New 52 start?
New 52 started in 2007.
Wow, okay.
2008, somewhere around there.
I kind of remember when that was first started, and it was the
It's
biggest deal.
been around 10 years.
Okay, so I guess rebooting it isn't too bad. Who's making a funny? Who's making a funny?
Black Wing is freaking out about my claim about liking
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I'd have to go back and rewatch those. I honestly didn't.
I'm not gonna say anything because I like Batman and Robin, and people get on me for that all the time. All the time.
But you like it because of the villains.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's valid. That's valid.
So you gotta make a valid point.
Yeah.
So that's Shazam for now. It's filming. It'll probably take about 3 to 4 months to film. And we'll have Aquaman in November, and then that's going to be it. So we'll have Shazam releasing next year, and I think we should have Wonder Woman ready by then as well, which is going to, I don't like to pit women against each other, but it's going to be interesting to see how Captain Marvel does against Wonder Woman 2, which is still going to take place in the past, and a lot of people are kind of upset that it's not being taken place in the present time.
Are you talking about Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
yeah. That's. I mean,
that's. I don't know.
I think at least my own feeling about that is the supporting cast and the Wonder Woman is so great and those characters are so awesome. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see more of them, but then when you're talking about moving the time, I think like what you're jumping ahead to the 70s, so 30 years ahead.
Yeah.
So those characters would either be too old to actually be out and about, and actually, by that point they'll be like in their 80s and 90s by that point. That's sad. Some of them might be dead by then, and that'll be, kind of sad. I just hate that. I would love to see more of those characters, especially Chief Eugene Braverock. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the last time that I've seen a obviously Native American character in a mainstream superhero movie.
I don't know. Maybe it's just easier for Patty Jenkins to kind of do like a prequel of sorts rather than try to create some kind of continuity in the world that's not even built.
Because continuity is so... To go ahead, I mean, the X-Men series, we've talked about this a little bit. They had a hell of a time trying to go ahead and connect all these little spider webs. And by the time you tried to, it's just like, I made a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Retcon everything.
But here you go. Yeah, I think it's the smarter move, just so that way she can go ahead and be like, I'd like to just go ahead and create a really good Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad. I mean, I am mad about some of it, but ultimately I think it's for the best.
Oh, you know what else is weird? Or like Chris Pine might be back. I'm like, wait a minute. What are you gonna Bucky him? Don't Bucky him. Come on. Like, there's so many similarities between Wonder Woman and Captain America already.
I feel like that devalues his sacrifice.
It does.
I'd rather he just be the guy that just...
The one that got away.
Yeah. Because that's tragic. That's tragic AF. And I mean, I feel like I don't want to say that her whole motivation is like this romantic interest of hers, but it's like a good foundation for like her motivations and how she feels about humanity and optimism.
Yeah.
He did a good thing, and we need to leave it at that.
Yeah.
But
Wolverine.
he's pretty. I'm not going to be mad about seeing him again. So
Good night to Ryan Earl, Wizard Rider Thomas, Blackwing,
Aw.
The Flash. Hold on, Carlos. Blackwing asked, "Hey, Miggy, who is better, Dick Grayson or Tim Drake?" Dick Grayson, of course. Tim Drake, come on, guys. I mean, Carlos, what do you want to talk about The Flash? Daniel West? Daniel West might be coming on The Flash, who was like the reverse Flash. We don't watch The Flash, so you're going to have to wait for Jezzer.
I'm not caught up. Sorry.
Sorry.
We'll shelve that. We'll put a pin in
Who
it.
wants to talk about Gotham?
Hey.
Stop
No,
left
is that it
behind.
for Shazam news? No, there's
a crap ton, but honestly, Jezzer carries it heavy on this. We can continue.
Well, no, I mean,
movies.
I at least know the villains. I know
Boom.
them.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we should talk about Black Adam and all that. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Tony.
okay.
Go ahead. Kick
Do
it
we
off.
have those lined up, Josh?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I've got everything.
All right, let's start with the villains because I do know about that. So it was revealed that the villains that they're going to be going up against, well, possibly the Rock. All right, fine. He's up there on the screen. Let's talk about that. We received character breakdowns. It was a hashtag show exclusive. And within the breakdowns, there was a description for a character. Wasn't given a name. Mm-hmm. It literally just said mysterious man.
Do you want to play the breakdown?
Do you want to?
He's asking you.
Oh, I mean, we can, but I mean, I remember most of it, so it's up to you. What do you want to do, Josh?
Jezzer gave it to me.
Lead us into the video.
Okay, yeah, all right. So we've got this video. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. We worked really hard on it. Why not? Let's go ahead. Press play.
Arch nemesis Thaddeus Bodog Savannah, aka Dr. Savannah. However, it's a surprise that he'll be a sorcerer scientist as the character breakdown
What is
reveals.
happening?
Evil sorcerer.
Jezzer didn't reset the position.
Do you see what happens when you're not here, Jezzer? Chaos. Everywhere. Look at Miggy. Look how chaotic she is right now.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know we weren't playing.
Chaos. Everywhere.
This is a test of the emergency sound system.
Okay, we're going to try again.
What's up, guys? I'm Jessica with that hashtag show, and today we have news on Shazam. Exclusive new character breakdowns for the upcoming 2019 film reveal that Shazam will face 3 members of the infamous Savannah family, as well as 1 additional character who is literally shrouded in mystery. It's not a big surprise that Shazam will be going up against his arch nemesis, Thaddeus Bodog Savannah, aka Dr. Savannah. However, it's a surprise that he'll be a sorcerer rather than a scientist, as the character breakdown reveals. Evil sorcerer who regenerates from death with world domination on his mind. Supporting lead male. Though the Dr. Savannah character has turned to magic before, particularly in the new 52 Justice League comics, he was always a scientist first. But this breakdown makes him sound more like Mum-Ra from Thundercats. Mark Strong recently revealed that he will be taking on the role, confirming months of speculation. As if our hero didn't have his hands full already, he'll also have to deal with Dr. Savannah's oldest daughter, Butia Savannah, and his oldest son, Magnificus Savannah. They are described as Savannah's devoted daughter. When he does not return her love, she changes loyalties and helps Billy out. Supporting lead female. Savannah's incredibly giant and strong son that has a huge battle with Shazam. Supporting lead male. Butia and Magnificus Savannah have been longtime allies of Shazam in the comics. When it comes to Butia, it looks like the film is going to remain faithful to the source material. However, since so little is said about Magnificus, we'll just have to speculate if he'll follow his sister and ally himself with Shazam, or if the filmmakers will take some more creative liberties and keep him strictly as a villain. Rounding out the cast is the one character who is absolutely integral to Billy Batson's origin story, and that's the wizard Shazam, who bestows the young Billy with his powers. Elderly wizard who is forced to give his powers to a young boy before the boy is ready. Supporting lead male. The most interesting character is the one who doesn't have a name. Mysterious Man, Shazam's underling, cameo male. The role is a cameo and the character's name is a little more than a description. It's possible that this is just a cover-up that Dwayne Johnson will finally be making his debut as Black Adam. Now, we all know that at last year's Comic-Con, Jeff Johns announced that Black Adam would not be appearing in Shazam, but that was before Walter Hamada became the new president of DC-based film production. It's entirely possible that this new regime changed DC's plans for the debut of Black Adam as well. So, which Shazam news are you guys most excited about? Comment below and let me know. That is it for this exclusive on That Hashtag Show. I'm Jessica.
Yeah.
And this is Toni.
Hi, that's Miggy. Yeah, so that's what's happening with Shazam. We had confirmation on the 3 villains, you know, and it looks like at least one of those villains is going to turn. And then that is her backstory in the comics as well. That's Beauty of Savannah. She starts out as this like devoted daughter to her dad, Dr. Savannah, and then somewhere along the way he's just a douchebag to her, and she's like, fuck this, I'm gonna go help out the good-looking hero. Yeah, that's what she does. And then also her brother also becomes an ally of Shazam, at times even stepping into Shazam's into the actual persona of Shazam. There was a point in the comics when Billy was just like depowered and couldn't actually show up to be Shazam, so then Magnificus actually had to like step in a couple of times as Shazam. So that's happened. Whether or not they're gonna do that here, we'll see.
Magnificus Totalis.
Yeah, man, those are some fantastic names. I'm really mad that my name is Toni. But the big news out of that, and the huge, you know, point of speculation, is this cameo. You know, it just says Mysterious Man, and it just says it's the Wizard Shazam's underling. Now, that's not in line with Black Adam's backstory, with his origin. But it's not, you know, beyond the realm of possibility that they could go ahead and reinterpret that. So that way they can go ahead and, you know, have a cameo by The Rock. Because as of right now, you know, Shazam, you know, it's sort of, I don't want to say a B-list character, but it's just not, you know, he's not as well known.
She wants to say a C-list character.
No, but he's just not as well known. You know, you say Superman, you say Wonder Woman or Aquaman or The Flash, people, that's name recognition. You say Shazam, unless you've been, you know, reading comics, I don't think a whole lot of like the general civilian public actually know who Shazam is. You go ahead and say that this movie has The Rock in it, though.
I mean, like a Jumanji.
Yeah.
Everyone was like trashing that film. Oh my god, I love the Robin Williams one. It's an okay film, guys. I love Robin Williams too, but you don't have to make all his films like that was something spectacular.
He's good in it. The film itself that's a lot of CGI to not be that good.
I still want to see Jumanji. I still have to see it.
Yeah.
I still have to see it, guys. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Basically during that we were kind of having a debate, who is better, Dick Grayson or Tim Drake.
Oh, wow.
Kind of missed that. People are flipping like virtual tables in here.
Okay.
Getting upset because I said Gotham. Y'all need to stop being babies. Blackway says Shazam is definitely B-list. So he's like on the bench for the Justice League.
Yeah.
Guys, what's going on with Green Lantern Corps? Where is that? Where is my Idris Elba led Green Lantern Corps?
That's a lot of ambition. That's a lot of, we got in trouble the last time around. You saw how that turned out.
I know.
Yeah. But ultimately, yeah. So I mean, there's some things to discuss with Shazam, but for the most part, it kind of, you know, ends with The Rock.
I do like the cast. Mark Strong's in this.
Yes, he's fantastic. If you need a creepy dude to be magical, but even then, in the breakdown, okay, so in the comics, Dr. Savannah is supposed to be like this total mad scientist archetype, right?
Yeah.
The breakdown for the movie has him described as a sorcerer.
Well, is that a New 52 iteration, or is that a film thing?
Yeah, so the New 52, there was, you know, Dr. Savannah, after, like, you know, science failed him, he went ahead and turned to, you know, magic, mysticism. But yeah, that wasn't for very long from what I remember. So it's not exactly a huge ingrained part of his backstory. But again, you know, if you're able to go ahead and just start rebooting and rebirthing random comic books and storylines and characters, I guess you feel like you can do that too in the movies.
Is there going to be a love interest in this?
It's weird because Billy. All right, listen. Billy is like I think he's supposed to be 12. Let's go ahead and be generous.
In no country is that still the age of consent.
Let's be generous and say he's 13, 14. That's still a minor. And I'm pretty sure even, you know, the daughter, Beauty, like I'm sure she, you know, it's in the line that she's attracted to him, you know, and of course he's supposed to be, you know, this good looking dude, Zach Levi, very good looking dude. You know, I'm sure there's going to be some sort of tension there, but the same thing with Big, with Tom Hanks's Big. That was weird because there was a grown ass woman that was attracted to Tom Hanks's character. And even though Tom Hanks himself at the point that he was playing that character, he was well over the age of 18, but it was weird that he was playing a character that was 12, 13 or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a little awkward that like.
But I don't think anything happened. They were like playing with toys and stuff, and then like he told her before anything could happen.
You've not seen that movie, have you?
I did. Well, not in the longest time. I used to watch that every week.
Did they not?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm like,
they
didn't have sex.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, dude.
I need to rewatch some of these.
Because I'm like,
man.
unless I'm.
Where he's walking into the office and he's like,
yeah. I thought maybe I'm not remembering it correctly, but I remember.
I don't know. I think you guys have evil, dirty minds. I know Josh does, and that's why his hair is bald. That's why no hair can grow there. He's like Heisenberg.
Because the karma just said you're a sinner.
Yeah.
Therefore, you won't have hair.
Like, evil brain thoughts.
Aww.
His hair falls off. No, aw. He's a professional troll. You got to pay the troll toll around here. Carlos knows.
Okay.
knows.
Yeah. Let me ask that in the chats. Yeah.
Survey.
Did they
Let's
bang?
not talk about that.
Did they bang? Did the 30-some-year-old lady and Tom Hanks's character in Big, did they bang?
I mean,
Go.
if he was like a 13-year-old boy, I'm sure he knew how to work the system, the hose, the garden hose.
It's so gross. So I'm going to
13-year-old
say
boys are
no.
naughty.
I'm going to say that Shazam will not have a significant love interest. There's never really been a love interest for. There has been. There is I think there's another girl in the cast, one of the young cast members. Mm-hmm. There is a sort of like, you know, oh, I've got a crush on this girl. So it's with the kids. It's an appropriate age love interest. It's not going to be.
Until he turns to Shazam and still has a crush on this little girl, and then it's not. Okay, society sees him as a grown-ass man.
It's a weird that's a fine line to be, yeah.
Carlos says he did not have sex with the older girl. Do you know what?
Yeah,
Carlos...
it was after the carnival.
Yes, right?
Yes. To her place.
That's what I thought they kissed. You guys are making
they
this
kissed
whole...
with no
takes off her
sex.
bra.
Okay, under her shirt.
And then the lights go out. And then he's walking in all happy.
Girls don't go to sleep with their bras on. Maybe they just
I do.
spooned. I'm
Just
sure, like, if he was a
spooned?
13-year-old boy, he would be so excited he spooned with a 30-year-old woman. Like, all right, we're gonna go past this because Big is not DC, and they're trying to ruin a good movie for me, and now I gotta watch it again. And if they really did have sex, I'm just, oh god. Anyway, all right, let's stop it. God, I just want to be ignorant.
Go back and watch that movie. It's horrifying.
All right, so we're gonna close out the show with this DCEU scandal that's been going on. I think that started and ended today, or it started yesterday and ended today. I don't know. It was a wild 24 hours.
Can I read the mission statement?
Kick us off. Tell us what happened. Tell us what's going on.
Okay, so basically, there was a group of disgruntled DCEU fans that feel that there is a conspiracy against the DCEU, right? That somehow Disney has manufactured this conspiracy to go ahead and give all the DCEU movies just horrible reviews, terrible press, so that way, the huge conspiracy is so that way Disney will go ahead and be able to basically tank the value of DCEU.
Right.
To be able to purchase them. That's the conspiracy, right? Or at least that's the one that I've always heard. Okay, but anywhoosies.
I don't want no DC.
But the thing about this is that there was a group of fans that decided to fight back against the system, and they decided that they were going to go ahead and just basically use the power of the internet to wrangle up all their buddies. And on February 14th,
Valentine's Day?
Yes. On February 14th, they were going to go ahead and give Black Panther a bad Rotten Tomato score, so that way they would tank the audience viewing. So I'm going to go ahead. They actually created a Facebook event, because this was a Facebook group that was actually trying to coordinate all this. And let me go ahead and read the mission statement for this little for this Facebook event. Okay, here we go. Given the massive success of the audience review rigging on the Rotten Tomatoes site for Star Wars The Last Jedi, and due to the sudden rise in those disgruntled with Disney business practices, among other factors, especially due to the corporate manipulations which created falsified bad press for the DCEU, I feel that it's time to strike back at all those under Disney and bring down the House of Mouse's actions for paying off the critics that hurt DC Comics on film and for other parties affected by them. I'll be making events like this for Infinity War and the Netflix shows, etc., so we can rally together to truly make a difference. Share this with your friends and all potential sympathizers. P.S. If you want to spread spoilers to Marvel fanboys, use this event as a platform to inform us of targets. So yeah, they really, they are convinced.
These people give DC fans a bad name.
Yes, they are convinced that there is a conspiracy against the DCEU. All the bad reviews, especially after BBS, Suicide Squad, and Justice League, that it's all a conspiracy. That these were actually good films that didn't deserve the press that they got. And
they have a mission statement.
Yeah,
yes.
Man. Thoughts?
Yeah, just to elaborate. I mean, number one, it's stupid. Once I read that, I was like, it's dumb. Because do they really think by tanking the audience score, like, they're not going to make a dent in doing that, number one. Because word of mouth still means something today.
Yep.
Number two, do they think Disney's not going to greenlight a sequel? Do they think that the box office dollars aren't going to match? I mean, they're delusional. Like, I'm ashamed to say I'm a DC fan when I see stuff like that.
Yeah. Guys, this isn't a good look. I mean, honestly, the only Rotten Tomatoes score that anybody, actually pays attention to and uses in their advertising is the actual critics. The actual Rotten Tomatoes score is derived from the critics.
Yeah.
The audience score is just there as an interactive, component of it.
Because do you think anybody's really advertising that the audience score for Justice League is better than Star Wars? No. They're not talking about that. They're talking about the critics' scores.
No. And honestly, the fact that you went ahead and publicized this, even God forbid that there are enough people organically that will go ahead and be like, you know what? It didn't live up to the hype. I didn't like this movie. I'm going to give it a better score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
There's enough people on the internet that have seen this and are now going to go ahead and attribute that to what you guys are doing, as opposed to just being
all
like,
over the internet.
You know what would have been brilliant is if you had just kept this private, spread it around, and just let it happen, and then we all would have been caught off guard. Like, what do you mean it only has a whatever I don't know, something crazy. What do you mean it only has a 40-some on the audience score?
No
Which
way.
is not going to happen.
This movie is not getting that.
It's not going to happen.
Because as you guys all know, I already saw it. Tony's going to see it on Monday. So even though they put bad karma towards me or whatever.
So excited.
Bad juju.
Okay, yeah. So I listen.
Bad jealous juju.
Here's the thing.
But the good thing that came out of this was once Rotten Tomatoes got wind of this, they came out with a public statement saying this is basically ridiculous and that they actually have a team that's going to monitor the comments and the score to make sure there are no racist trolls. And they're going to remove anything that's like that immediately. And if it looks like people are just tanking the score, they're going to adjust that as well. So I think that's a very bold move, considering like Facebook and Twitter really doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Or YouTube. They try to say our terms of service are this, and that, but they're notoriously known to ignore, threats of violence and racist comments and stuff like that.
Do you know what this reminds me of?
Ghostbusters.
No. This reminds me, okay, this is going to seem like I'm going off on a tangent, but for those of you, how old were you in 1999?
I was 46 years old.
You were old enough to be on the internet,
I was
right?
11.
Okay, were you a Backstreet Boys fan?
I was, but I don't think I was using the internet at 11.
Let me explain to you what happened in 1999. The Backstreet Boys released an album. It was their second U.S. album, right?
And I want you back.
That's in sync, but that's okay. Here's what happened. That second album had the record for most records sold in a week. Back when we still used to use SoundScan, back when we were still buying actual physical albums. 1.2 million record CDs sold in the first week.
Okay.
That never happened. That 1 million mark had never been broken up until that point. That was huge, right? Then what happened is I think like less than a year later, NSYNC They had their second album come out. 2.4 million CDs sold in the first week. Do you want to know why that happened?
Because the NSYNC fangirls.
Yes, they got together on the internet, on a very primitive internet, and said, you know what we should do? We should buy 2 copies. So that, I am not kidding you. This happened, and you go ahead and you grab an NSYNC, you know, teeny bopper and ask them if that's legit. I know so many girls that have 2 copies of that CD because they were part of that conspiracy, okay?
Oh my God.
But that happened. And then everybody who wasn't trolling around the internet, you know, looking for Backstreet Boys fan fiction, which I was.
Fan fiction existed back then?
Yes, man. GeoCities, get with it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
GeoCities.
so that happened. This is what this is. You guys are trying to go ahead and be the new generation of NSYNC fans, trying to go ahead and make something happen, to go ahead and prop up what you believe is like that somehow that, you know, something needs to be brought down. This record or this, you know, this streak of just quality, awesome films just needs to be brought down.
Yeah. I would just say you can be a DC fan and you can be a Marvel fan. I'm sitting right here. I am both. You don't have to hate one thing over the other. I mean, competition is good.
Or you can also go ahead and
mean
enjoy a
overboard.
movie and still go ahead and admit that it was flawed.
Oh, yeah. I talk about Suicide Squad all the time.
I have a blast with that movie, Suicide Squad.
I
and
will
even
watch
though, and I will be
the
like,
intros. I love the intros.
Yeah.
The character intros. Harley Quinn's always a joy to watch.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, it's stuff like this, or, you know, DC fans on Twitter get all, like, nuts and crazy. And sometimes they're justified, like with the whole Justice League thing. I think that got steamrolled a bit unfairly, for sure. I think there was a little bit of a conspiracy going on with that one.
I just think there was, there were 4 movies trying to be made at one time, is how I kind of saw it.
Well, we'll never know, but apparently, what was the latest news with that? I think on Twitter, it said there's more footage of what Zack Snyder did than we think there is.
Oh,
So
I
there's
believe
actually
that.
some kind of a cut put together.
I believe that,
I mean,
totally.
obviously, because he showed the execs, and then they didn't like it, and then the whole thing, like, imploded. But, anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. Go see Black Panther in 2 weeks.
Yeah, man.
And it's Black History Month. Yeah, Wakanda forever. We'll be back next week at the Watchtower. I think we'll talk about The Flash. We'll talk about Black Lightning, and hopefully some more DC news comes out. I mean, who knows? Ben Affleck's probably starring in Matt Reeves' Batman next week, you know? Who knows?
Could happen.
Because every day there's something new. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me and Toni tonight. Toni, where can we see you next?
Let's see, where can you see me next? Because we actually are going to be
yes.
canceling next Monday's Marvel Infinity Watch.
Yes, we are canceling it. We won't be here. I mean, I'll be home. I'll do something else. And Toni and Jordan.
Are you coming in on Sunday for the Super Bowl thing?
Why are you, like, butting in? It's outro.
What Super Bowl thing?
We're having a Super Bowl party between streams on Sunday.
Can we have this conversation when we're done?
Am I not going to your Super Bowl party?
That's where you can see you next.
He's trying to pull you over here.
Oh,
This rival Super Bowl
I did
parties.
not receive a Facebook event invitation to your
Josh.
event.
So guess what? My event's more legit. Guys, I'm from South Jersey. That means I'm not really an Eagles fan. I am a Phillies fan because I like baseball more. But I am rooting for the Eagles. Suck it, Pats fans. Suck it, Tom Brady.
Anybody
Stop
but the
deflating
Patriots.
Football. Stop it. But anyway,
Sports ball.
yes, again, we're canceling Infinity Watch this week, so we'll catch you the week after that.
Yes, back here on DC
We
The
won't
Watchtower.
spoil Black Panther until the weekend after it comes out. And you can catch me. Are you going to come for After Dark Saturday?
Sure. If again, I've not been invited, Joshua.
You don't have to be invited. We just show up when we
Okay.
want to be on After Dark. We're just like, we're available for After Dark in the Slack.
So yeah, that's not unheard of to see me on After Dark. So
Okay. I'll
Yeah.
be here on After Dark as well. Otherwise, I'll be back next week. We're going to be releasing, sorry, I know this is a DC show, but we're going to be releasing our second Black Panther video tomorrow morning. That's accompanied by Toni's lovely article, which was the basis for my script there.
Thanks.
So please go to that #show.com. We also have a lot of DC news, Star Wars news, Marvel news, all types of geek news there that you can catch up on. So again, thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Renegades out.
Bye.